Yay, it's filming. I never know whether it's filming. I'm pretty sure I've said that in every video I've ever made. Okay, so this is my context video. Identify the requirements for both performance and production elements. So, for the performers, obviously physically, they need to be, or we need to be, really fit. Basically, we're going to be lifting up a lot of people. We're going to be we're going to be in positions for a really long time. I won't, because I'm only in one scene, but everyone else is going to be in positions for a really long time, and so it's really important to have the strength in your core and your arms and your legs to be able to tense and stay. Plus, if you're being lifted, the core strength is very much key, and if you're lifting, core strength is also quite key, but also lifting with your legs, so your thighs and everything. So in order to provide that element of physicality, we have an movement, what's her name? Movement director, maybe? Sian. She does like workouts, and she looks at the parts of the scene that looks bad and then makes them look good. For production wise, because it's Brecht Epic, there's not like a lot of costume or set or anything like that. So production, there's literally no set. I don't even know why I mentioned it. So production wise, we don't need a set person. We do have someone on costume, which is just someone who's going to find accent pieces. Props, we have a few. I think we're getting boxes to put at the back for the props, so that's going to help. But we've got like vocal coach and all of that as well, because production wise, the production's obviously feeding into the performance, and so production wise we need to have a few roles where people can support. So we've got like workout leaders, we've got warm-up leaders, and then directors, which include myself. Identify the constraints of the project. Oh boy. So there's a lot of things with this project that really make it difficult. The biggest one, I would say, is the way it was written. So as pointed out by Yayan before, the play is written, my hair looks awful, the play is written much like it's a book, which makes it really hard to act out. I'm not even going to do that. Which makes it really hard to act out, and so, yeah, we could get really, really creative and pull it apart and just scratch it down to its like base and then build it back up again. Only issue with that is we've got such strict instructions from the writer, so we can't do everything that we want to do. It's like creative shackles in my mind a little bit, but I think with that it will make us think more outside of the box of being inside the box. So like we're gonna try and push the boundaries as much as possible in a very creative way, but still be within those boundaries and still make it what the writer would have wanted, I hope. Another issue is just attendance. People, it's coming up for like flu season, people are going to be getting sick, and so people are going to be off. Plus we've got a lot of people with physical issues. Myself and Sian, I know, do, and I think Nicole is struggling. So there's people that won't be able to be in everything. Like I'm already only in one scene. But sometimes people are going to have to take breaks, which makes it harder on the other people to fill in for them. But we can work around that by just ghosting, being aware, and then putting people back in and filming everything. It just works. And we can work as a team. Identify the needs of the target audience. So our target audience is probably, I would say, like 12 up. No younger than 12, because we're dealing with some pretty big things. So we have got a lot of jokes in there. We've got a few jokes in there that are a bit adulty. We've also got a lot of young stuff. I think the fact that we're working with like school/A-level kids is really cool, because that is an instant connection with the younger audience. But also we've got a married couple, which even though they are young, can connect with the older audience there. But definitely because our cast is young and the characters are young, it's definitely going to connect to the younger audience, and hopefully it will connect with the religious audience as well, but in the right way. I think we've gone about things in a good way where we're not going to be offensive towards people, but people can relate. Like, I know as a Christian listening and watching this play, it seems to be about faith a lot, and so I can relate to that, and I can relate to the faith of like feeling like you need to climb a mountain to go and like be with God and do what he wants you to do. So I think a lot of people that are religious, I know I've invited people from my church to come see it, will relate to it in that way. Identify the context of the play, including cultural, natural, political context, explaining how they have all influenced the nature of the piece and how we might go about applying them. So as I said, obviously we've already got the religious sort of thing, so we've had to do a lot of research on religions and stuff like that. I know I've looked at Israel a lot, and the historical sort of context of Crusaders is very much wars being fought between religions, which, just saying, it's sort of different here because we're bringing the religions together. Anyway, I think the way that we've gone about this without it being offensive is really, really clever. Like, we had an issue with Anika. So Anika is Indian, and she would normally have like a head wrap. Is she Muslim? I don't know. But she would have like I think it's called a hijab. So we've decided we're not going to do that because it's insensitive. So we've got she's just wearing like a long skirt, so we're doing that as well. I should reread the question here. So we've also got, so I think in Anika and Nadine's scene as well, because it's quite a hot environment, and I don't know, whenever I pictured that part of the country, that part of the world, I would think of dark but warm, so that's what we're kind of doing with the lighting there. So that's being applied also, and we've got a lot of context coming from the school kids. They're relating a lot of their life, so a lot of their Midwestern life, into how they're following their faith. So for Anika, she talks about the history of I literally cannot pronounce any of their names, but all of the gods and all of that influence her. Whereas with the kids, they're just talking about the one god, they're talking about Bake Off, they're talking about like all the sorts of things that everyone else can relate to. Identify what research you will need to do to be successful in this project. So as I said, I had to research, I say too much, don't I? Anyway, I had to research Israel, I researched the army, I've had to research, or I'm going to research, Santa Muerte, because as a director I should understand everyone's scenes, not just my own. I also need to research physical stuff. Wow, that sounds bad. I need to research how to keep everyone safe when doing lifts and that, because a lot of the times I predict I'll be the only one sort of sitting back and watching the lifts and stuff like that. So I think that it's definitely I'm definitely going to need to know my stuff. Luckily, I already know a fair bit from past projects and stuff like that. Identify what resources you think you may need. So, I think we don't need that much. Obviously, we all need blacks. Obviously, we need a few props, but a lot of them we have, like backpacks and phones and jammy dodgers. Easy. We don't need too much. I think this is very much a piece where the actors are very independent and they can just, whatever they need, they make. So we've had like chairs and stuff being made out of people. Like, it's easy enough just to make it themselves. But we do need, obviously, production-wise, we need a lot of lighting and a lot of sound. Well, maybe not so much sound, but definitely a lot of lighting, because we don't have set, because we're doing it using our physicality and our bodies. We need the lighting to intensify the moments and intensify the atmosphere of each each section of the scene. If you get me? Does that make sense? I don't know. Explain how you will reflect and evaluate your work as both ongoing activity and the conclusion of the project. So I will be doing my logbook videos as always, and I obviously I've got my notes, and what I like to do when I'm taking notes is I tick off once I've seen something. So say I gave George some feedback to do some better facials in the second scene, then when I go back to watch it, I can tick it off, and so that's how I'm going to be reflecting on whether people are doing what they need to do. I'm doing this a lot with my hand. And obviously at the end we'll do a whole evaluation thing. Cool. I never know how to end these. Bye bye.